Hey, welcome everybody. This is another episode of Midlife Crisis. I'm your host, Leo. Today we're back in the 2008 C6 Corvette convertible. We're going to remove the airbag and switch out these two paddle shifters, okay? So what we're doing is, this is called the F1 paddle shifter mod. It's a mouthful, right? We're going to be changing out these little plastic ones and we're going to put these nice billet ones. Now this one's going to just go right on in. We're going to plug it. It's going to be real nice and easy. This one here, we're going to have to switch the wiring around, okay? So all we're going to do is just undo the harness, flip the pins, and put them in so that way it reverses the polarity so that when you pull in, it's positive as opposed to negative. So let's get started, shall we? So you take your Allen wrench, flat end is better, and you stick it into the little side holes, okay? Now I already did it, but we're basically going to be pushing the rods. The side hole will push the rod right here. We'll push it in, okay? So when you push in, you're just moving this rod right here, okay? That's all that's doing. You're going to do it on both sides, and this pops right out. Then you lay this down nice and gentle, and you take a little pick and you lift each one of these little pieces right here on the clips for the airbag. And then you squeeze and they come right off. Just squeeze the sides, they come right off, okay? Airbag's done. You always want to keep them this way so if they ever do explode, they'll just explode up and they don't get launched into the ceiling and then come down and break something, okay? So we put that off to the side, set our pick off to the side, and let's begin. There are two Allens, okay? So why don't we do this? Make it a little easier for everyone to see. You don't need to remove this piece. I am only removing it so that you guys can see better, okay? Here we go. Nice and easy. So there's a Torx right here and a Torx right here. Those two Torx, you remove it and the whole little switch assembly comes off for the paddle shifter. Same thing over here. I just wanted to remove one side so that you guys can see. Okay? This is a T20 Torx. Okay? There we go. So we'll throw that into the cup holder so we don't lose it. Take this out. Throw that into the cup holder so we don't lose it. And we're going to unplug this harness. Okay. There we go. Now, we need to take this apart so that we can take that piece out, okay? So we're going to get a little screwdriver and take those three out, and then I'll be able to slide this off, okay? So I didn't bring a little screwdriver. We'll have to improvise. Okay, right here. Now, I don't recommend you use a power tool, but I'm lazy and I'm not getting up again. So these three screws, oh, that one's going to be a pain. Okay, and one more. Okay. Got that screw up. And this little cover actually can come off. It's kind of separating. Want to get that other screw out from there. Basically, you want to see that you don't break anything. You got to be gentle, okay? So, okay. All right, guys. So I had a little difficulty. So what we did is we went ahead and we paused it for a second because you didn't need to see me just fiddling like a silly fool. All right. So let's explain what happened here. Okay. I took out 1, 2, 3 screws, and to get this little back piece off, you just lift it and it pops right off. Just give it a little pressure, it pops right off. You won't break it. I didn't break it, so you shouldn't be able to break it. Okay? So then you set that aside. Then what you do is you flip it over. And when you flip it over, I want to explain, because there's a big mess on my knee. Okay? It's going to be like this. Okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to pry this away from this tab, okay, and lift it up a little, just a little bit, and then you're going to pry this and lift that other end up. Now be careful, because this is up against the wall. This is on a spring. If you're not careful when you're taking this apart, this will shoot out and go crazy, like you'll lose the piece. You understand? There's a spring and then there's this little bullet looking thing, okay? So what that does is it provides pressure here and it does that little clicky feel, okay? So you want to make sure that you don't shoot it out. So once you get this out, you set that off to the side, you flip this over and you got the 2 screws off and you pull it out, okay? So 2 screws, you pull it out, this comes off. This is that ugly thing. Now look at the difference. Real ugly. You just slide this tab in. It's not even going to come out because it took some pressure to put it in. You slide it right into the little groove, line up the 2 holes, and out of the total of 5 screws you took off this, right? 2 little ones here and then 3 on the other. The 2 smaller screws actually go right back. Okay, so that's 1. And this is number 2. Be careful if you're using a power tool. You can break this. You break this, you're screwed. I'm not kidding. You're screwed. You can't get these. You'll have to hunt one down somewhere. So just be careful with that. Now this, as you recall, goes like this. Put it downward. So this piece goes in here, okay? You're going to squeeze it in. Get one side kind of lined up. And then push down. Now make sure that it works both ways. That means it clicked in good. So that's good. You take this little silver piece that you had taken off, and it's going to go in like that, okay? So it goes in. There you go. See, it's getting hung out, so it's not perfectly aligned yet here. Now that works better. Okay. put your 3 screws back in. These are going to be a little bit longer ones than the other 2 that you just took out. Change the head on this thing. Let's get one with a little bit bigger head. There we go. That worked better. Okay. And the 3rd screw. Okay. There we go. That is ready to go on. It works both ways, no problem. And all you do is just reconnect your harness. It is tough when you got sausage fingers, let me tell you. There we go. And then you just feed it right back in here. Make sure nothing's binding. Change back to your Torx 20, your T20. Grab these screws and you want to start with your fingers, line it up and finger tighten a little bit. I know it's kind of tough, but that way you don't cross thread things, okay? There we go. Yeah, that's how it's gonna be. So, and that's how it is. You're gonna be using it. It'll still work both ways, but you're only gonna use it one way. Okay, so the idea is that you pull in, it's a negative, it'll downshift. This one, you know how it says positive, but it's push. We're gonna make it so that when you pull in, it'll upshift, right? So instead of that, it'll look like that, okay? So what we'll do is, we'll put this piece back in. That way one side is completely done and we don't worry about it. Okay. Okay. Torx 20. Get that out. This will allow this little piece to come out so you can see it better. Now you see how you got the wires here? We're going to just switch the 2 outer wires around. That's all it is. Okay? Okay. All right, so we're going to go ahead and take apart this piece again. Right? So 3 little screws. Oh, that's the wrong head. Yep. There we go. 2, 3. Now, we're going to wiggle it out. Comes right off. See? Just like I told you. Set that off to the side. Now we got to do is pop this off, and then we can deal with the other 2 little screws, okay? So just like I told you before, there is that spring piece right here, okay? So what you want to do is you want to undo one side, okay? And see how I'm undoing the side without the spring piece first? That way the spring stays in there. And then I can undo the other side. I know it's probably hard to come up on camera for you, but there, I got it a little up, and see how if you do it gently, the piece did not shoot out. Okay, now we're going to turn this around. We're going to take off these 2 screws and switch out the part. One screw. 2 screws. Now, when I take these apart, this one comes off pretty easy, see? The other one came off pretty easy once I did that. But if it's stuck, put your hand like this so that when you're yanking, you're protecting this. Or remove it so it doesn't shoot out on you, okay? So this piece is out. We got this piece. It just slides in like that. It's only going to slide in one way, okay? Because this is how it goes. Okay? So if you went to flip it the other way, it won't slide in because these pieces will hit the bracket there. So it's pretty easy to figure out which direction. Okay? Just got to work it in. It's very tight because, well, it's aftermarket. There we go. Make sure you line up the screw holes right there. Take those 2 little screws, put them back in. Okay. Now we're going to put it back onto here. So flip it. Don't let that fall out. It's going to go in here. You're going to put the piece first right here, okay? Squeeze that in and get that right in there, okay? Get that piece in. So you do that, line that up, then push it into here. Then you just got that one piece you can clip it right in. Very easy. Take this piece, push it in. See, it's got a little scoop kind of thing. You want to push those in, and it goes right in. See? There you go. Nice and easy. Flip it over. You're going to do the 3 little screws. Alright guys, I got all 3 of those screws in. This is ready to go. Alright, so it's going to go in like that. Works that way. Pushing it out works. So that's good to go. You need to switch the wires around. The 2 outside wires, okay, the brown and the purple, need to switch. So when you're looking at it like this, okay, straight on like this, you'll have the purple on this side, on the left side, and you have the brown on this side, on the right side. You need to switch the 2 around. Now, Some people will tell you, take this apart, switch the pins. That sounds like a good idea, right? Problem. It's this plastic piece that has the little plastic tabs that hold the pins in. Okay? It's not the metal pins have that little tab that folds down. So when you remove this white piece forward and remove it, and you stick a safety pin in, you're gonna break that little brown piece. Okay? Like I did. I break things so you don't have to break things. Okay? So listen. You can try it yourself. I don't recommend it. Broken. What I ended up doing is I switched the wires, and the middle wire, which is the red wire, is still stuck in there good. So I pushed everything back in, reset everything in good, and then I taped all 3 wires together with electrical tape. So basically, the only time that these wires feel pressure is when you're clipping this into the harness. That's it. So all I needed to do is the red wire hold the tension for the other 2 wires as I'm pushing it in, and then I'm all good. Plus, I got it all taken apart, so I'm able to do it and make sure that it works. And after that, there's no more pressure on it. So it'll stay, it'll work, it'll be fine. I personally suggest snip the 2 outer wires and just put small button connectors when you reverse the polarities, okay? So remember, when you're looking at this, you're gonna want the purple on the right, the brown on the left. Okay? That's how you're going to want it for this to work. Then we're just going to put it back in through here, feed the wire, and we're going to push that clip in. There we go. And all those wires are nice and in there. We're going to put this in here. Okay? There we go. Line those up. Hand tighten the Torx 20 screws. Okay. I'll switch a bit around to the Torx 20. Get the other fine threaded Torx 20 in here. Go. Make sure this wire is nice and relaxed in there. Works both ways. Now we are ready to just put the airbag on. Oh, sorry, this piece right here, right? Okay. This just slides in. Line that up. The coarse Torx 20. And now, we can put the airbag in. Okay? So you just, one clip at a time, doesn't matter which one you do. You push it in and hit the lock, okay? Take it, push it in, hit the lock. Now they're locked in. And you're gonna put these 2 right through these 2 holes, and those springs are gonna catch it, okay? Just line it up gently, and you'll feel a click on both. And test it, make sure. Okay. There we go. because that's your horn. You want to make sure it goes in and out, right? No problem. Works. And there you go, guys. You got F1 style paddle shifters like the C7 on a C6. I already got my racing steering wheel, got the double din radio, my shifter. We're good to go. All right, so remember, I break things so you don't break things. Use button connectors, cut those wires and flip them, okay? You want the purple to be on the right, the brown to be on the left when you're done. Take your time, put everything back in. Everything works. We're good to go. Don't forget, hit the like, hit the subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Take care.